Fnatic have mastered 1-3-1, but they didn't last game. So this is very interesting. It's similar strategies again. Misfits poke 4-1 versus Fnatic 1-3-1 mid game.
And once again, we heard it last week. Fnatic felt like they were playing too fast in their first game, that they weren't communicating well enough. That's why they fell down to Giants. We'll have to see if the communication improves here for them in game 2, because I mean, this is it.
Yeah,
it's best of 3. They lose a game here. They drop to Misfits. Misfits advance to the clear #2 team in the group as they, begin to close out their round robin. And you can see Misfits hashtag MSF win if you're voting at LO Esports on Twitter. Hashtag FNC win if you believe in Caps here and the Katarina.
It's definitely possible. We saw the analysts talk about how well Ivern really sets up these carries in the late game, and Corky Varus, a nice mix of damage, nice spike in mid game, but also decent late game these days. So Misfits could definitely win this based on draft.
Impressive to see. Will Misfits find the early advantage? They've proven already in this series that they don't need it to find a win, but they've proven more times than that if they get it, they will win out in the end. Fnatic putting everything on Caps, and brave, honestly, to put so much pressure on the rookie, but he's never seemed to be faltered, and we've heard him talk about it. The team, they're there for me, they calm me down, they keep me focused, and he's going to need to be focused on this Katarina because, I mean, Jin's going to sit in the back line. It's going to be him in the middle of those team fights.
Yeah, it's a good setup. Katarina and Jin works well together because you can follow up on Dagger Poke with Jin Snare, and then Katarina can Unleash. Karma Shields work well to speed up people. Amazing making picks. It's all like Fnatic is looking for picks, keeping the map open again. They don't want to get locked under these turrets or at these objectives because they don't have really good wave clear. Like, they have terrible wave clear in the comp. They have like the Exodia wave clear. By all powers combined, they can clear one wave if everybody hits it once.
Look, man, Karma clears waves at level 1 really good. Past that,
they have the range creeps maybe. Man, let's see where these junglers start. Kakao, is he going to do his red trick again? He did it last game. When you launch Xerxes, who's an Ivern the Ivern expert,
I would say our resident Ivern expert here for
Resident
EU.
Ivern expert in Europe. He always starts on blue for 2 enchantments.
We both love Bard so much, Cripple. We just like pause. We're like, let him play.
Let him play.
Be respectful.
Master at work. This is a really rough lane, though, I think, for Hansama and Ignar. It's pretty hard to win the push versus Karma because she can just Q the wave if she wants to. Especially if you walk into it. No!
That's a lot of early damage.
Yup, just Q the wave. Bot lane is not about trading on champions. It's literally just by hitting the wave for a while and then just hitting champions once you have the advantage. Once your heading creeps, you can hit the champions. And that's what they did right here.
Well, Reckless was definitely ahead in creeps, and now he's definitely ahead in health. This bot lane already in control of Fnatic.
They forced the overpush, so that is the saving grace here. This lane is so good that they could have taken it slower and punished way harder. At least Hansama can farm in a turret and get maybe all CS, 5 out of 6 CS. I think he's happy with.
Good setup well.
And now the lane is kind of parked close enough to turret that you don't get absolutely demolished. Because Bard doesn't get anything on level 2, he gets health relics. That's it. It's going to be a lot harder.
It's frustrating, of course, for the Bard. Bard level 1 always feels so strong, but compared to the Karma level 1, doesn't quite match up.
This guy has an ulti level 1. He's cheating.
The woes of your own experience is clearly carrying through a little bit here, but we can see already
about.
Amazing clearing out. Moving in, I mean, once again, I think we kind of expect Amazing to be the big early force here for Fnatic. We did not see it in the last game quite so much, and I feel like there's a lot of pressure on him to perform after what we can really safely call a pretty bad game.
Yeah, rough game. We don't know if it's all his fault. Could also be communication breakdown. Like, if you're building a snowball build and then you win, you look great. If you're building a snowball build and your vision shuts down because the synergy support jungle isn't there, then obviously you don't look as great. He did some quick 3-camp into river control. There's 2 wards slightly deeper than usual. Look at the triple vision setup Fnatic have on bot side. They're gank-proof against Ivern, and Poppy is safely farming on the turret. So everybody's technically safe unless Ivern ganks from left side mid. That's the only thing he can do.
Right now, reasonably comfortable. Can't imagine we'll see a dive on the Poppy quite yet, but Kakao moves onto the top side, knowing he has pressure advantage, looks to take this camp away, has the smite, and of course, that's really the luxury of the Ivern pick. When smite's up, you can take anything and everything you want.
But only once, otherwise you have to wait, and you can't counter jungle by walking in, enchanting the camp, walking back, and then going back in. That doesn't really work.
You have to be a pretty negligent jungler on the enemy side to get away with that. But Cap's now moving forward. Ivern is there. Just a little bit of poke here.
Pretty obvious that he's leaning so far to the left that the jungle's going to be there. Amazing just looking for camps. He probably knows his Krugs are gone at this point. Does he find the vision plant? He's pinging something. Yeah, he found a vision plant, which means he finds the ward in the jungle. He elects not to kill it. It's interesting.
And now pulling back, we'll be able to pick up his first round of items. Kakáo's already had one back himself. Opts for boots. A little bit more clear. Aether was coming in for amazing. A little bit more movement speed, a little bit more damage. Once again, pressure on him to find advantages in the early lanes.
Yeah.
Cannot let Misfits get comfortably to that level 6 area.
And no longsword start here for Reckless. So he wants to base on Serrated Dirk. I think he should have the money right now. Sitting on 1,000 right now. So not quite yet.
Ever closer. Amazing moving in over the cover fog of war. Try to find an angle into the top lane. Alfari really comfortable in the matchup. Small level advantage.
Ooh, he's looking for the blast compound. Here we go. Portal over the wall, I think, from Ignar as well.
Away for root collar. Stun not going to connect.
Yeah, Karma speed up is so good if your enemy bot lane's playing passive Rada. Here's the reaction from Amazing.
Oh, Alfari moves forward. Nice W out. Flashes around the Poppy. That was really smart, but it's not enough. First blood drops for Amazing.
Yeah, that looked really bad for a second when the Cocoon missed, but obviously 2v1. Alfari a bit too far up.
Yeah, definitely not where you wanted to be, and this is the early advantage we talked about Amazing needing. He already found a kill, he's gotten Poppy ahead, and that's a good start.
And more importantly, when your jungler is doing a blast cone gank on the bottom side, which means he has walked through his own jungle and is partly into the enemy jungle, and he hasn't seen the enemy jungler, you can almost guarantee he's on your side of the map, so you should play much more passive. And this is something that you learn later on while you play a lot more scrims and a lot more matches on stage, that this is generally a pattern you can expect to have happening, so Alfari probably should have backed off a little bit more.
Maybe just overzealous to continue winning, because he was winning trades, he was coming out on top in those small skirmishes on the top side of the map, but you know, now giving up that kill over to Amazing is going to be devastating for the team, and Poppy getting the assist as well, not where they wanted to be.
But what this gank did is give the control over to Ignar and Hansama, and they can actually get a favorable base if they can get Serrated Dirk plus tier. That is the timing. If you can base exactly on that money, you can limit the income of your opponent as best as you can, so you get maximum value out of the tier, and you kind of match it versus a longsword and boots, and you get more poke spam because of it.
About 400 gold away from that, or actually less than that, as he has the longsword already. So
yeah, that's
closer.
the whole thing in the longsword start. You don't start Dorns, you start longsword, so you can get that really easy buy. Usually on 25 CS, I think is where you go for the Dirk. With a tier in, I haven't done the math on that, but he should be able to
another 700 gold. Should actually, as you said, be able to purchase both. Trading continues on the top side. Meh. Top lane continues.
As per usual, let's see. What are Kakao and Amazing up to? Because they definitely just define how this game is going to play out.
Caps as well as moving forward. Plant does spot Kakao, it looks like briefly. Amazing, they know he's on the red buff here. Ivern can comfortably move up. He has level 6, he has the Daisy.
Soaz is really respecting these ganks.
Oh.
As he throws his ulti out.
All comes out. Definitely not respecting the ganks anymore.
Soaz is really
too greedy.
Not respecting these ganks.
Yeah, definitely going to go down here. Unfortunate, but a nice clean execution. And Soaz, if he just kept the Keeper's Verdict, he would have been fine, but...
That's the blow. You're a jungler, you're like, I got red buff, he's pushing, okay, I'll be there in 10 seconds. And then you're here, an ally has been slain. Yeah. Feels bad, man.
Saw some of those stats on your screen. Amazing. A really rough game last time around. This time, a little better of an early start, but unfortunately, Kakao knows he had the safety to gank the top lane. Soaz had the illusion of safety, because Amazing was at red, but just over-eager.
And while the game is even, as it was somewhat last game, the difference here is that all the turrets are up, and that's actually really good for a poke comp, because they just want to get one good rotation off, one good engage. Kakao ganking bot, chunk the enemy bot lane, get the turret, and then instantly move mid on this low wave clear Katarina. Misfits, if they ever snowball and make a single pick, they can get so many structures and objectives off it.
And they have the tools now to set those picks up with Ignar at level 6, Hansama getting closer.
He's playing Summoner's Drift right now, catching all those beautiful little meeps.
Cleared out, of course, the control ward in the mid lane for Caps as well, so not quite as much comfort, no real angle for Amazing to get into that mid lane to try to shut down Power Evil here in the early game. And, you know, Power playing with a lot of respect already. You can see early Hex Drinker. Did not see that in the Zed game, of course, terrible item against Zed, but just immediately going for Triforce.
Did not build Hex Drinker versus Zed. What an amateur. That's
how dare he not respect it.
BM, which is very important. But yeah, he's not going for the raw damage build here. He's just really preventing the all-in, which is what you have to do again in this matchup.
I appreciate you backing me up. I was like, yeah, I didn't build Hex Drinker. Yeah, I was just definitely wrong, but Krepo's the homie and follows me into the abyss there.
Yep. But it is the right build. It does really impact his 3-item spike, which was so crucial last game. Ooh, Caps.
Oh, red buff ticking down, exhaust.
There's nowhere to go.
Safety.
No minions.
Yeah.
He's dead.
Ooh.
That's greedy.
Nice of him to hand deliver his body to Corki. In the
High
end
volunteer as tribute, but it wasn't enough. And this Corki again, double buffs on second rotation here. Kakao just gives them over every time. And it's so annoying to play against, and I think that's why Ivern may actually see a rise with strong mid laners that can utilize both buffs here. And look at the rotation. Push into top, and they're setting up for third pressure or just a dive.
Daisy is relentless. Poppy just going to use the speed up to make it out to safety. And now Misfits are in complete control of the top side, but pings are coming out on the bottom side for Fnatic.
Yeah, they have to cross map. Soaz may actually just want to teleport. Try and use his ulti to knock them away maybe, but he could technically dive bot lane because bot lane has already yielded. Look what Ignor is doing. He knows he's losing his bot, hoping that Hansama can catch the tier 1 wave or tier 2 wave bot. But Ignor's kind of lost here. He doesn't know exactly where to go.
This is absolutely devastating. Fnatic late on the draw. It means they're not going to get the tower first bonus. Cap still in the mid lane.
Yeah.
Ignor is nearby.
He's pathing bot lane, and Misfits actually pinged out a ward in the enemy jungle that they might actually want to use for teleport with Alfari. You have to see if that happens.
You saw for a moment there, Power People contemplating going bot, has the package, is ready to start the fight.
Yeah.
They decide to pull back though. No need to
Fnatic
take
back
the
off.
risk.
They can just group up again, because now they have top lane push, which means Alfari can peel off to mid lane if he wants to. Could actually set up for a poke on Caps and then a dive bot, for example. That is a play they could make. They could also just teleport in the bot lane, go for dive. It's just imperative that Hansama pushes up that bot wave rather ASAP.
Jhin will be back there soon. They may have wave priority, they may be able to move, but Jhin will be there to pick up the CS.
Ooh, very tense moment for Reckless here. Non-Gakko's 80 carry. Has to be careful. But Hansama looks like he just wants to base. He's probably sitting on quite a bit of gold.
And of course, Bard there to potentially lock him up. The Varus there as well, but they saw the Ivern, they saw the Corki clearing out the vision, so relatively comfortable, and of course with Jess's snare now, he knows he's safe.
Let's see, now it's about vision control. Just making a pathway that has no enemy wards in it is really valuable if you're Power of Evil, because then you can disappear into Fog of War, you can push up the mid lane, disappear, and put pressure. And then the lane where you're going to always has to back off, regardless of how deep you are in the river.
And right now he has a path on the top side of the map from when he took that tier 1 tower. Needs to make one potentially to the bottom to rinse and repeat to do the same thing. But Caps maybe caught out here. Minion wave not positioned in his favor. Snaps back into Power of Evil, looking for the 1v1. Moves forward, locked up. Amazing tries to grab the stun. Caps tries to make it to safety. Exhaust goes down. Rocket comes in. Power of Evil kills traded back and forth. Amazing now in trouble, getting slowly whittled down. Daisy comes in to dunk him out, and Misfits come out on top.
Yeah, the difference in this equation was that Ignar was there, so it was a 3v2. The 2v2 kind of was won by Fnatic, but Ignar just completely influences that play, finishes off Caps, and then obviously cleanly finishing off Amazing right after, and Jezz was still with Reckless here. So they're not accounting for these Ignar roams, and Hansama is doing so well, just kind of being a passive farm AD carry. Look at a little close to the dagger from PoE, because they think that they're 2v1. Really nice flash from Amazing. Really nice follow-up, honestly. You can't play it any better. But then still the little tag onto the Katarina, and at this point, like, if the support's here and you've already set this play in motion, there's not much you can do. So Misfits, they're doing a great job of freeing up Ignar, and this is what he did a lot in Challenger as well. And people always said, yeah, he can't do that in LCS. He can't go Proto Belt Alistar in the LCS. Turns out he can't, but he can still roam.
And I think the thing that we're seeing too is the whole team has sort of leveled up across the board to allow this to happen, knowing when to push waves, knowing when to back up. Hansama on the bottom lane when they fought for that tower. We've seen so many AD carries stay there and die for that tower.
I mean, he's just, he moves away for one. He bases, he manages to kind of hold Reckless and Jezz is close enough so that they stay, but not far enough away that they just leave the lane and roam and go for ulti picks in mid lane. And more importantly, we see a shift on Kakao as well for full utility. And Kakao, one of the kind of most prestigious junglers ever right now, is just playing support on Ivern.
And consistently too, we saw the Rek'Sai, a more supportive style coming out from him as well. Now this, I mean, we've seen the old Kakao, quote unquote, on that Kha'Zix, leaping in fearlessly, trying to make.
I miss the old Kakao.
He was set on his goals.
Kakao, straight from the go, Kakao. But I like the new Kakao.
Yeah.
Plays Ivern Kakao doesn't really flow that well. Never mind.
Support number 2 Kakao.
Exactly.
I just want to keep going, but we're gonna.
No, we're done. We're done here.
Kakao moving in. He's controlled so many of the buffs across the map. He's taken the red buff away from Fnatic. He's gifting red buffs over and over again onto Power of Evil, and it makes it that much harder for Caps to really survive. Does have the Gunblade now, has been nerfed on this patch. Not as strong as it once was, but maybe a turnaround point.
And look at the lane assignments too. Like they currently have Katarina matching Maokai. It doesn't really work out that well. So this is Misfits being happy. Look at it. They invade jungle and support together. I love seeing it. It's so beautiful. Ward, double deport. Look at how comfortable Ignore is going so far in the jungle. Fnatic have to consider a Constellation Rift Herald while they're losing their bot lane turret because their lanes are mismatched. Poppy needs to go with Maokai, and Katarina should be finding it. And look at it. They're just invading. They're setting another blue steal up as well.
He's going to have all 4 buffs. Yeah. Ignore still gets him into the wall. Excellent Cosmic Binding moving forward. Daisy's coming over. Trigger Seed's up. Oh, he's going to be triggered after this one. Moving in. Going to get taken out. Stun into the wall. It's just so clean coming in from Misfits. No one going to drop it. Meanwhile, Fnatic are in mid.
But look at Hans. He's staying outside of ulti range for Jhin and the Cocoon because he can easily drop here if he eats a single spell. Because Karma Q into Jhin W into Jhin R is dead. It's a bit of a greedy TP from Alphari to commit that deep because Fnatic actually get 2 turrets for this play and there's only a single one and the midway has been taken, so I think this is a bit of a mistake from Misfits, but the setup was really beautiful. I think they just pulled the trigger too hard. They didn't need Alphari to go down the bot lane.
While we can praise them for executing a beautiful tower dive, in the end it does count against them. Fnatic now with 3 turrets to 2, moving forward. Misfits want to do something, but they don't have a wave to back them up.
They can neutralize it if they get the mid lane turret here, and that's what they need to look for, but they're backing off because the vision kind of has faded. They really need Ignore to base. They get some poke on this tier 2, but Soaz can hold, so I think this is a win for Fnatic.
Overall, exactly what they want. The consolation prize for Misfits will be the Cloud Drake.
Yeah, especially because it could have been so much worse for Fnatic, right? That's what you need to look at. Not just at the outcome, but at the potential outcome. The range of situation where it was really bad to okay for Fnatic, they ended up okay.
Exactly where they wanted to be, because there were so many potential situations where it could have been disaster. If they did not respond, if they overcommitted to the bottom side and tried to force a fight.
But that's fine for Misfits, in my opinion. If you are a new team in the LCS with players that have to learn how to play together, I think those are acceptable mistakes. And they can easily spot them. It's not like it's rocket science. When you show them the replay, they'll be like, yeah, I agree. And then we're done here. So it's very easy to fix.
And still, they maintain the lead, 1.3K.
I think Fnatic knows they're there. The Grand 4 Danger Pinks came out, so they're very much so aware.
I mean, they did see this a lot in Game 1.
Yeah.
Nice little Death Bush, stacked up with the Zed. This time around, it's a Katarina. Just as deadly.
Ignore is looking rather for good Tempered Fate here.
But the package is up and available for Power of Evil. I don't think they can afford to fight this. Package does go wide. Amazing's going to get caught out. Not quite burning down yet. Soaz ticking ever closer. One member locked up. Reckless dishing out damage from the backside. Curtain call goes in. Nice! Disengage coming in from Soaz.
Smacked in the head. Ignore trying to be a support assassin here.
He wants the kill so bad. If only he had Proto Belt, Crepo.
If only he had Proto Belt, he would flash, smash, all from the hip. Bard really smashes from the hip right there.
Not enough this time around.
Top lane is pushing, so is his bot with teleport, so there's minion pressure. If they can actually match Alphari bot, there could be a 4-1 rotation, or like a rotation to the top side here.
Moving forward. Daisy's taking a bit of damage. Not going to be able to auto-attack anything, really hesitating for a moment there.
I want to see poke Siege here on the mid, and then magical journey to top side. That would be actually a really nice play. But actually, Soaz is reacting with teleport behind them.
Oh, no ult for him, but they have to respect the Katarina engage potential. Soaz now pulling back. Misfits respecting the TP and backing off. Amazing's on the backside, but he's all alone. They're just going to engage on Amazing.
Really good play here.
Power of Evil going in, flashing forward actually.
Ignore.
Looks like he is set to get the kill. Ignore now caught out. That's the first one for Caps. The reset. Trading back and forth. Separate 1v1s on each side.
Yeah, definitely so. Siege here again. Look at Kakao. Look at the root.
Waiting for it. CC could potentially come in. Deadly Flourish. Multiple targets damaged. Hansama waiting on the ult. Has the flash. Misfits set to take this tower. Reckless is backing off. It looks like they will be able to take it, but there's no minion wave here.
Yeah, this is they see Katarina top, so they have all the liberty. Fnatic is essentially yielding, and this was his top wave that we were talking about earlier. It just had so much pressure. Eventually, it would force something, and this trade, so good. Amazing constant playing on the outskirts here, but again, Red Smite, Runic into Haunting Guys for Amazing. He's playing super pen-based.
No, now Soaz is getting caught as well. He overstays his welcome.
Look at the face. Fnatic, they seem to be coming apart. Now Caps is back. He didn't even fully push out top wave. He only neutralized it.
This feels bad. I mean, Fnatic, we'll take a look at this, but this is kind of where it just went so wrong.
Look at the control for Misfits. That portal, they don't take it. They notice it's just, it might actually be bad to take a portal into an Elise. They know they're actually not getting punished. It feels so bad when Poppy's teleporting behind you, but yeah, the important member's taking a cocoon. Yes, Ignore may be out of position here. He stalls, he takes the resets away from the fight. And then they get Amazing, who's playing, again, very squishy assassin-y, but there's good vision control. Misfits, when they group up, they're really warding their flanks well. They're communicating well in fights. And they're honestly outplaying Fnatic. And the biggest advantage that we kind of saw happen in that play is now that Alfari has teleport, and Soaz has none.
Something massive for Fnatic to play around. A situation where they have to outplay their opponents to get that advantage back. And this is so different from Fnatic we saw against Giants. After game 1, it felt like Fnatic started to turn it around in game 2. Game 3, they were clinical. They shut down Giants. It felt like they never had a chance. But this time around, it's Misfits shutting them down.
What goes up?
Must come down. Oh, amazing. Bye-bye. You can hear the Misfits chant.
The only thing you can do wrong is if he's next to a wall and you ward to see if he went over the wall, and then he jumps on the ward.
That's the LCS classic.
The LCS no, that's the Diamond 2 classic.
Oh.
Project. That was a prelude for Project Bard.
Yeah, I was. Oh my god. I'd be ready. I'd be so ready.
Riot. I will buy RP.
Look, I know we have absolutely nothing to do with the skins team, but just for this once.
Has anybody debated Project Bard? Anyways, really nice. Look at the vision here. They have a ward in the pit. They need to shoot bullets through the Baron to see what HP is in, and the magical journey comes out.
Oh, shots connecting. Gonna have to body block. Cacao more than happy to tank it up.
Yep, let's see on the map. That does mean Alfari should just go bot. Put pressure, drag Soaz away, and use your teleport advantage, although it's too late at this point.
On Sama. Pops the Youmu's, returning to mid to clear out the waves. Doesn't want to give Fnatic the opportunity to push mid in exchange for anything else.
Good triple control setup topside, great. You go for mid push, makes me emotional. See this? Just like, I think I'm finally hitting puberty. But yeah, they're pushing out mid, which is just step 1 to any successful Baron play. Like you can't not push your mid lane, and it's really important to see that here.
All right,
very
Krepo.
often overlooked.
Step 1 is push mid. What do Misfits need to do next?
Let's see the wards. Ignore needs to base. Because to place vision, one needs wards.
But
it's
Ignore
really annoying.
himself could be a ward if he just stood in a push.
Human ward. So they buy some time, push the waves. They still have teleport on bot lane. Caps is neutralizing top wave, but he never really pushes out. We talked about it in Champs League. If Caps snowballs, he could be a pushing threat. But right now, if he overextends past the river, Misfits can send 1 or 2 people to get him. And there's nothing Fnatic can do punishing him mid. Jessens and Reckless are not in the game enough to do it.
The good news is, though, Soaz is about to get that teleport back, so that advantage that Misfits had will not be utilized.
Yeah.
Maybe giving an opening for Fnatic to find a better flank after the last one failed.
But the map is dark and full of terrors for Fnatic right now. They have 1 ward in Tri, 1 ward in mid lane, and that's it. They don't see anything. Look at it. Try and play a reset champion. Who's going to face check? Like Soaz, but he's bot lane. And Amazing is essentially an assassin.
They see the dragon go down.
Yeah. So they get a moment of reprise, but they still can get caught, because if that was a solo dragon, okay, maybe a duo dragon, because Iron takes a while, then still 2 people could be there to punish
Daisy
you.
counts as a second member, Krepo.
Yeah,
don't forget that.
Strength in numbers.
And the other thing, too, I mean, so often we're not excited to see Cloud Drakes. Maybe they would prefer a Mountain Drake here just to take the Baron that much quicker, but the Cloud will allow them to maneuver around all these wards to control the vision here.
Yeah.
And to really start these fights off. And for Ignore especially, that will be massive.
Just looking to punish. Control ward now should spot the entire Baron pit as well, so no more cheeky wards being placed over that you happen to miss that ruin your entire Baron setup.
I feel a lot of personal experience in that statement there.
Bro, Baron setups in Diamond 2? Come on. It's all air. Oh, here we go. They're starting it.
Well, bushes go down. Baron's going to find himself a nice little bush to hide in momentarily.
Yeah, nobody has wards. The only one with wards is Jess. He has to face check. So that's Blue Trinket, but they still don't know anything. They saw it briefly.
Curtain call to try to get vision. The body block. Caps on the backside. Will we see the reset? Soaz is coming into the pit. He's over the wall. Baron is low. Will Fnatic look to contest? Ignore's backing off.
Yeah. Avoid the resets. Good contest here. Fnatic get mid prio, but they're engaging onto Caps.
Oh, power of evil. He just wants the 1v1 and he gets it. Trigger C just to make it the 2v1 in the end, but Caps cleaned up.
Fnatic gets clapped right there. He should have just backed off. The Baron was reset. He was all alone versus a package Corki. This is, rookie mistake. And right now, mid-prio means nothing because it's 4v5 and they can just force Nasher again. And again, instead of just blind forcing it, potentially throwing the game, you go back to mid lane. You'd be surprised how many teams mess this up. It's so rudimentary.
Just let me know if you're going to get emotional again, because I feel like this is a special moment for you.
Boy, should be good.
Misfits setting their sights on the Baron once again, this time with a man advantage. Amazing, no smite quite yet, so they burn it down.
Ignar has no Tempered Fate. He has to be careful so he doesn't get one-shot. He can't actually overkill, so they're turning.
Oh, in goes Alfari, amazing's burned down. There goes the smite. Soaz gets the disengage, but for how long? He knocks Power Evil back, does not connect into the wall. Alfari sitting on the front line. He's unkillable. Double kill for Power. Could be the Baron, but Power's not done yet.
Look at the Misfits. They're respecting pink warded brushes. Their target selection is on point. They fake engage on Soaz, and then Hansama turns with the ultimate on top of Amazing, who gets one shot. Immediate foul from Alfari. Communication in this team has drastically improved.
And, I mean, look at it, too. They're not taking the bait. They see Soaz on the front line. Looking tasty, looking vulnerable. 4 members could collapse. They're not giving Katarina the opening.
So we saw this fight, but just look for fights where, or moments where it could go wrong, right? Soaz flashed out. Did he cancel the Maokai W? Because it looked like Alfari went in once and then jumped immediately to Amazing. But they keep switching targets, keep focusing right on here. It's so easy to overchase. Caps is alive, so they back off. And then it's so easy to start as Nasher, but then you realize you have 3 members on 40%. This could be a game throw, so they just base and they play consistent. And now on full HP with Vision, start Nasher again. And they can always stop, because nobody actually takes damage here. Except Daisy.
Spot to be. They're trying to bait it out. Soaz will get slowed up, but Jez is an amazing R over the wall. Curtain call comes in. Quick cancel. No Edge of Night to stop that out. Moving it forward. Power of Evil's now in trouble. Has a portal to get out if he wants to, but he wants to stay in the fight.
Even BM flashes.
Oh, doesn't make it over the wall, but he will make it onto Soaz. Poppy goes down. No Captain America on the buckler pickup. Dodge out on the root collar. Alfari's on the front line. Jesus is next. He goes down. Caps is still waiting in the wings.
What does Fnatic have to do? They find Power of Evil. They smash him into the wall. They cancel his Valkyrie. They foul put a Cocoon. PoE just flashes into the wall. He may as well start playing with his feet, and he probably would still get kills, because it's so hard to kill this guy with Redemption coming out, with Locket, with shields from this Ivern.
Caps. Oh, that's so much damage. Is he going to get Caps?
Oh,
nice turnaround. Can pick up the dagger for the reset. Amazing in trouble. Caps wants to keep the ball going. He gets another reset. Keep your eyes on Caps. Cacao doesn't want to let it happen. Alfari, they're just too tanky. Thus ends the story of Caps' triumphant return, but a good play nonetheless.
To counter to Katarina, classic point and click CC, but Bad Boy's still alive.
Still comfortable. And I think good on Caps to save his team that opportunity, but Fnatic really need to pull it together, because honestly, this game has been nothing short of confidence-inspiring for Power of Evil. We saw him go aggressive and chase when he knew he had advantage. We saw him pull back this game when he knew he didn't.
Yeah, watch this again. So Soaz can always press W to cancel Portal. It's actually an underrated trick versus Bard. The cancel from Ignar onto Reckless is good. PoE, like, by all intents and purposes, should just die here, but it's Redemption, heal, Locket. He even underestimates the power of his team comp by panic flashing. And then Alfari, he's just 1v4ing the front line on a tank. We always call him a carry player, but turns out you can carry on tanks. And poor Jez is playing Karma, so he's dead. The main trick, though, to beat Katarinas is to never get close to daggers. And I think this is where there's over-peeling from Ignar. He's actually making his team lose Baron by trying to peel, because Katarina can't do anything in the pit. Ignar goes out, PoE goes in, places close to a dagger and dies. This is hubris, I think, and it's a good play pattern to go in as a support and buy time. It's a good play pattern as a mid laner to jump out of the pit and poke and just kind of keep people away from the pit, but it's not a good play pattern against Katarina. That is the kind of one caveat right there.
And while Power of Evil does deserve praise, he did make mistakes in that fight in particular. Blowing the flash for no reason, getting over-aggressive onto the Katarina dagger, maybe not as comfortable in that matchup.
And there's miscommunication here with Ignar saying, guys, I fight them, I am fine, don't help me. Because he knew he had Portal, he knew he wouldn't die to a straight dagger throw from Katarina, and he was fine just buying time. Problem was that PoE wanted to help his teammate and potentially turn it around. So slight overreach.
And it's interesting to see how Misfits have changed, because in their first couple games, we thought they were a team that would not pull the trigger, that played too slow, too steady. This time, maybe a little too eager to pull the trigger in that sense. But their Baron setups have been clean, they've been consistent, and it feels like they may just go again.
Again, we can't expect perfection from this team. If you would have shown me this game and told me like this is Misfits after 3 weeks, I'll be like, okay, take it, sign it, deal, done.
A little bit of damage coming in. TP now on the back. Soaz gets the wall bang, moves forward, Cacao.
He gets stopped before he could use W.
CC coming in, but there's no follow-up for Fnatic. Katarina moving forward ever closer, looking for the setup. Tempered Fate lands. Caps is doomed to die if he gets the perfect stun. Will get it. Katarina, nope, goes in. Will she go out? Yes, Caps makes it to safety. Good escape.
So hard to time that right, because you gotta do it frame perfect on the Bard follow-up on that stun, because otherwise she will just hop around. Really hard to do, but a good idea for Misfits. A marginal error in execution, but still, they always have safety in mind. Nobody drops low, nobody over chases. There's no way for this plan to kind of backfire.
And still advantage going over in the favor of Misfits. Alfari will have teleport soon, so as not so lucky, Caps has burned Flash.
Fnatic have to face check again into this lineup, and nobody drops low. All these heals and shields, look at it. They have no choice.
So as moving forward, Reckless is there, but he's reloading. He doesn't have any bullets left in the clip to make this one matter. So as in trouble, he's been here before. This is the power of Evil Chase. Alfari, a gentleman to donate the kill over in the end, has the Twisted Advance, holds it so his mid laner can pick it up.
And what do we do? When we're 45?
Do we push mid, Crepo?
Yes, we push mid. We don't rush to Baron blindly. It's not how that works, because now Fnatic is back and they have to face check even more area, more ground. And then you just hopefully kill that ward eventually. That blue ward's been there for a while. It is actually disabled, so it doesn't really matter.
Will, of course, spot out the Trinket and nothing else. Baron not quite finding a home in the bush quite yet.
Oh,
But Ignor's going in. That's an aggressive
Caps
engage.
is
Caps is caught out. No flash means no life as Hans Sama's on a rampage.
Ooh, I like it. They bait it, they stop it. They bait it, they stop it. And then finally, they turn around with the portal.
Just endlessly teasing Fnatic, baiting them into the play time and time again. This has been clutch. That one going wide. Daisy
Zoning.
not so content.
Get him, Daisy.
Oh no.
Now Katarina's dead.
Goes
Power
up,
Blue can do that.
comes down, goes out. Jez
Is he the hero?
No.
No, because his
unstoppable.
enemy team, Misfits, they keep the Baron on 1.3k. They don't put it on 200 health like Splice did. What a controlled Baron.
As we watch this replay, I mean,
And what?
so smart.
Yes. This is so good. This is textbook. You put the Baron in the brush, you check your HP bar. Are we dropping fast? No. Are we at risk of getting TP'd on by Katarina? No. Then why rush it? Just deny the vision, kill the jungler. Okay, he can't get it anymore. Who else can steal? Maybe Karma with a Q. Let's wait for the flash. Kill her too. Kill everybody. Then kill the Baron. Because nobody actually takes damage.
And, I mean, we saw it from Splice, from such a veteran team of Splice, not communicating to stagger it or to burst it down, the small mistakes coming in from Trashy, but we're not seeing this from Misfits, a much younger lineup. Everyone on the team on the same page. Stop hitting the Baron. Immediate call, immediate answer. Not a single person pushes another ability or auto attack in that direction. They pick off the member and they take it clean.
Yeah. Super clean game. Such a joy to watch. Now we have to see, I think Senkook's raised a good point on the analyst desk. Is this Misfits drastically improving? Or have they found a really good comp on 7.2? Oh, Fury, that's the wrong way. Have they found a really good comp with Ivern, Varus, Corki?
Consama flashes to safety. Ultimate canceled there. Ignar did use the Tempered Fate to shut down the ultimate coming in from Reckless.
Good
And
trade.
Alfari's just going to take the top lane tower in the meantime.
Because this comp plays out so well. From behind it plays out well, from ahead it plays out even better. Nice logic. But Power of Evil and Hansama have really been controlling the pace of the game. Hansama has been slowing it down where necessary. Power of Evil has been accelerating it where needed.
And honestly, these members of the team were the big question marks. We knew Alfari was a strong top laner. Power of Evil had been inconsistent. And Caps.
Caps is golden. Golden boy Caps.
Maybe
He's dead.
overstaying his welcome. Out he goes. Out goes two members. Fnatic need to find a fight win here. They bought a bit of time, but now Soaz is just going to drop down. The max health damage from the Varus may not even be needed as Power of Evil is the one who's going to be popping off. Misfits are crushing Fnatic.
That's it. Very clean execution here. Target selection. I'm loving the way they're approaching this Katarina with caution. And this is exactly why I didn't get that excited about this pick, because
Look,
it's really hard to make work.
she bounced around. I got excited, but it wasn't enough because Misfits, this is a beautiful game of League of Legends. They're moving up. Not only are they taking out Fnatic, it's going to be a 2-0 in their favor. They find advantage. They make it work. They take the series.
What an impressive Misfits we see here, defying expectations. Dessa maybe 1-2, maybe 2-1. Nope, out of the window, 2-0. One game from behind, one game from ahead. Yes, similar compositions, but very impressed with their communication, target selection, and overall gameplay.
And small mistakes here and there that we could get into, but right now it just feels I mean, it feels good
Yeah.
to watch Misfits play. This is clean, it's collected, it's together. It's, I mean, everything we wanted to see from this squad.
And we could make a list of what Fnatic is doing wrong, but in the end, from a team as young as Misfits, this level of play is very good to see. It's very satisfying that a team can come in new with a couple of older players, but a lot of question marks, and we're getting answers.
And I mean, we've seen this before in Europe. We've seen it in G2. We saw it to a certain degree in Origin, although with a lot of veterans when they first came in. And we kind of joked about it being a thing for Misfits. And then when they faltered in the first couple of weeks, you know, making mistakes, we didn't expect to see it again. But week 3, apparently that's all it's going to take because they are coming out so clean in these plays.
Yeah, we need to see if they can mimic it with different compositions, because it seems like Corki, Varus, Ivern seems like a really good core. Any poke comp with Ivern seems to be the core. People have really started utilizing him as a secondary utility support. And it also shows you that Ignar always has a support champion to play. This guy's getting targeted left and right, freeing up all these other picks for his teammates.
I mean, they don't even pick up support in the first pick rotation in game 1. They let all the supports get banned out. The Bard, the Karma, pick up a Tom Kench, and they do just fine. This game, no bans go over to support pool. Outside of the standard Zyra, the standard Malzahar, and we see him pick up the Bard, and he crushes.
Yeah. Oh, I really liked it. Fnatic never got rolling. They never got into the 1-3-1 that they want to play. They never had enough of a lead on Caps. We saw Caps was kind of lost on that side lane too. He never knew how far do I pressure? Where do I go? What do I do as a solution when Baron is started and then stopped? It's very hard for Caps to make these calls because you don't have time in that moment to ask your team, what do we do?
And crazy here, because we're seeing the team now. I mean, so often we see teams that beat Fnatic, they jump up, they cheer, they're happy. You see their coach stern look on their face, focus. This is what we did wrong. This is what we could do better. This is what could be improved. Always, it feels like looking forward to the next game, even in this moment of happiness.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is the best review, guys. Guys, we won. We played really well. I'm happy you did well. You did well. These are the kind of post-game reviews where you go home and you open that VOD. You skip through it and you're like, oh.
Yeah, here's that time I outplayed that guy 1v1.
Oh, I remember
here's
that.
that time I chased Soaz and Amazing down and killed 2 people.
Yeah, let's VOD review this. Did I do this right? Yes. Yeah, oh, great. I'm fantastic.
Wonderful.
The problem is when you start losing, you start skipping the VOD reviews.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? I think I know what I did wrong.
I mean, it's hard to look at your own mistakes and go, oh yeah, I was bad. I played poorly.
That's why I don't like listening to my own casts.
Shh.
I remember it was at this moment I hit puberty.
It's never as bad as you think it's going to be, and it's never quite as good as you think
It's
it is.
never
You come in,
quite
you're
as
like,
good.
I was hilarious. You listen back, I was not funny at all.
Yeah, okay, no. If I'm not hilarious, Twitter usually tells me, which is quite often. But yeah, no, this was a fun game to watch, a fun game to cast, and I like it when we have a lot of just like expectations and we don't know what to expect, and there is these preconceived ratings where, okay, yeah, Fnatic, a veteran team,
Yeah.
you know, new kid on the block, really great mechanics, oh, they definitely cannot play Sauce on a tank, oh, it all sounds so good, and Misfits, oh, really poor late game, and then in a week, it's all turned upside down.
I like how quickly the teams develop, and I feel like part of this is the best of 3. They get more time on stage, they play more games, maybe not more games in scrims, but they get the chance to kind of experiment with the series, experiment with more compositions, and I mean, Misfits found one that works for them.
They definitely, like, the rate of improvement has to just go up year to year, and that's why some of these teams are struggling in the European LCS right now, is because they're improving and they have the infrastructure and kind of the pacing of teams maybe 2 years ago, but you gotta be quick right now. You gotta make every single day matter, and that's what makes it very hard, and that's why when people do improve fast, it is something that has to be praised.
Yeah, and I think overall it's curious to me to see how well and how quickly they've developed, and really wondering as we move forward if Power V will continue to be like a big star player, if Hansan will continue to be a big star player for this team, because Ignar Cacao, no doubts, playing really well, functioning really well overall, and excited to see how they
I was
develop.
skeptical. I'm gonna be honest here.
We
Like,
were all skeptical.
PoE on Origin did not look good.
Nope.
To the point where he has to be subbed out by Peke, who was maybe like, I don't know, Diamond 2 at a time, barely playing because it wasn't working, but it just shows that he's the type of player that needs an environment, you know, and trust from his teammates, and he was just going ham. He had all these shields, buffs, Iron speed-ups on him, and he just kept killing people left and right with that Corki.
Yeah, and really, at the end of the day, I mean, just a solid win coming in from Misfits overall. And I mean, just waiting in the meantime, of course, to get set up for the interview as we
can
talk
see
a
him.
little more about
like
this.
They're setting up right there behind the camera. Across.
It's pretty exciting. But for more on that Misfits win, Pyra is standing by with Power Vivo, and he will now take it away.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. And yes, I am joined by Power People. Why don't we ask the burning question then? PoE, congrats on your win. Is this the team that has really unlocked your potential compared to time on Origin?
Well, so I think we just utilized me way better in Misfits than we did in Origin. I think everyone comes along way better. I think the environment is really good. The atmosphere is incredibly good because every teammate kind of enjoys to play with each other. I think this is really important to have fun in the scrims, to have fun on stage, and to like not mind mistakes and failures. So I think we just learn from week to week, and I think today we showed up really good.
Yeah, no kidding. So 2-0 against Fnatic. I mean, you guys did a great job. And it was really clean, too. I mean, first off, you came from game one, down a deficit, come back up, outplay. This game, you really gave them no chance. I mean, like, this doesn't look like the team that snuck into Rocket's base last week. What changed?
Well, I think we improved our draft and had the way better late game composition against Fnatic. So that was a huge advantage we had. Besides that, I think we just played the vision game way better than them. I think this comes down to the last week. We improved a lot about vision. We were looking, when should I move towards mid lane to give up vision? When should I like kind of give up the top lane waves or like the side lane waves, just to kind of prioritize the vision more correctly? And I think everyone did that in these games way better. So they kind of, we didn't give them like a chance to engage most of the times.
Yeah, you certainly didn't, and as a result, you were able to stay pretty safe. You picked Corki both games. You had some pretty big plays on it, and it seems like it has been the go-to against all these crazy assassins coming up on 7.2. Seems like it does more damage these days. Like why is Corki, you know, just kind of going up in the popularity?
Well, I think poke and like control mages are really strong at the moment. Besides that, there's like these Shen and Zed and Shen Katarina combos. You can always see these assassins in combination with like Shen, since they can always win the side lane against everyone. So after the first game, we didn't have like huge struggle against it, but we were like, I think that's like the winning condition. So we just banned out the Shen, and we had the kind of poker safe-ish team fight composition, and we just kind of, with Ivan, 2 redemptions, 2 lockets, 1 Mikaels. You could see, like, I think it was in the first game where I could just like kind of face tank everything as Corki, and I just get like everyone's just shouting, just go, just draw, just tank. We have redemption, we have everything for you. Just go, I will shield you, and I will just go.
Yeah, and you were able to just keep making those big plays time and again. So, last one to you. I mean, you guys are solidly sitting in second place in Group A. Now you move on to the cross-group contention. You're going to be facing off against the likes of Splice, Vitality, Origin, all coming up in the next couple of weeks, and they're all pretty much struggling teams. Are you concerned at all about your place going forward?
Well, so obviously we don't know that much about our opponent group yet. I think we're going to have a good shot since I think we are right now second in our group, and I think it shows that in our players that we can win against everyone. We could even take games against Gamers too, and I think the next time we meet them, we can probably take the series as well.
Ooh, okay, well, keep that one in mind for when you guys rematch. Thanks again. Congratulations on your victory, PoE. And for now, we will send it off to the analyst desk for the post-game lobby.
Thank you so much, Pyra and Power People, and welcome to PGL. I'm with the Fisher, Suncooks, and Verius to take a look back on today's games. And oh yeah, first off, thank you so much for joining us. You casted the first series of the day.
Yes.
Got a little break, and now giving your insight.
I got to see Warwick. Yay.
Yeah, you did.
Fun.
It was like, yeah.
And then the third, no, it won the.
It did win the last game, that's true.
All right,
but the first game was like, yay. And
we're going to talk about Warwick later. We're going to start by taking a look back at Fnatic versus Misfits, the series that just wrapped up. Misfits, they took down Fnatic, and quite interestingly, in the post-game interview with Power of Evil, he mentioned that they had done so much work in terms of seeing the way to play the map and play the game on a macro level. And I think in a week's time, they've done some serious work.
Yeah. I agree. I think they played much better towards later stages, especially around like certain objectives. We have a replay of just showing like some of these Baron calls they made where they kept starting Baron and then engaged the fight, which was the correct move to make, and they kept forcing Fnatic into team fights. That's going to be really interesting just to see like more from Misfits and do this later on, because technically you want a 5-on-5 if you're Misfits here. And how do you force a 5-on-5? You start the Baron.
Yeah, I mean, they played much better today, like in terms of mid-late game, I think, than they've done other days. But I think the comp kind of helps it as well. So for me to be completely convinced, I want to see them play something else where they actually manage to do this probably like without a full poke comp iron where you just screw up as 5 and go. It's a bit more simple than many other late game comps.
But we talked about this coming into the game, how playing simpler comps, especially in your own region, is very, very smart because you're not beating SKT. Like, this is Fnatic with a lot of new members the Misfits are playing.
Yeah,
and I just think them actually drafting easier to play compositions and then focusing on improving these macro aspects is the best thing you can do as a new team.
Yeah, no, I have to agree. I think that Misfits have not only shown a lot of growth, but they seem to echo pretty much to Fisher's point, where they seem to play to the strengths of the individuals. No one's trying to be a hard carry. No one's trying to do anything out of the ordinary. They're just playing to their win conditions, and they're doing a great job.
On the other side is, Fnatic, obviously that first game with Zed, that's hard to execute and that really has to work. Then Katarina is something that we have seen before from other teams, but isn't it also speaking to them that they put the faith in their mid laner and they want to try it now? Maybe they think, oh, this is a learning curve for us, but we need to see if it works first.
The thing is, I would still argue that Caps has shown a lot of potential, his skill, a lot, on all of the different champions that he's played. Even in the deficit, he had a pretty impressive Katarina play. He was still able to pull stuff out. I would look more towards the jungler and the main support that Caps is getting and his actual ability to set up and enable him to be this hyper carry that we all want to see.
Yeah, what do we make of this Elise tunneling for amazing these two games?
I don't like it personally, but it's easier to say now that Fnatic as a team is not playing that well early on because it is a snowball pick. But I think Amazing is a guy we have to look at, and you can't be happy with that performance.
I mean, it makes sense. You want to play against Iron like this full comp that if you go late game, you're going to lose. So you play for the early game pretty much. I just think that there were so many missed plays and they didn't close out the games early enough, and then they just go stake in, and it's pretty much impossible to play the games with their picks.
But they do get caught a lot.
They did get caught a lot.
And that's the thing, like we can say Misfits did some really cool, good things, but we also like Fnatic, where they run the snowball comps. The Z1, they did get ahead. They got a few kills. They played 1-3-1. Then they invade too early with certain members. They get caught and die. The game is delayed. Game like this one, the Katarina, kind of the same deal. We want to re-snowball the Katarina. I know you like the Corki matchup against her because you can just kind of sit back and do nothing. That's what Power Evil did in the laning phase. Yeah. And Caps never really got going enough to like 1v5, a team fight.
Do you guys differ in opinion of the Corki versus Katarina matchup?
Personally, I think that Katarina does pretty well into Corki, personally, especially when you look back at earlier on in the day when we saw Exile play into the Corki, because he had an ever so slight lead, and you can manage the wave in a way that forces Corki to get overextended, and it's then easy to punish him. Like, it's super, because Kat, if she has a slight advantage in that lane, can really heavily punish the Corki. Because, he does have exhaust, but I personally think it does pretty well into it.
I think Exile got a double buff level 3.
That helped.
But he didn't even get ahead by that. Like, all he did was kind of just push waves. Like, the good thing about it is obviously he pushes waves and he can roam and pressure the map. But Katarina is like the kind of champ that is good to in lane into a lot of matchups. And that's why I think Corki is good, because you take exhaust no matter what pretty much. And you have, after 6, you have a really easy time just staying back and clear the wave, and you can actually sometimes clear it before her and get the pressure out. And that's why I think Corki can be pretty good against it.
Can be. Let's take a look at your series, Unicorns of Love versus Splice, because obviously it was the other way around in that one. We're going to take a look at some of the replays from earlier in the day. In the end, do you think it came down to picks and bans, champions picks, or in the end, is Unicorns of Love just a step ahead of Splice for now?
I think we did so many misplays today in the early game that they got a lead every single game, and that's kind of I think that was the hardest part for us, not surviving early at all, and then it just kind of snowballed from there. In the first game, we were kind of lucky that they did a greedy Baron and aggregated a package on like 5 members, but I don't think we should have won that game either, so. I think in general, you can say that we're a step ahead, but I think we did too many mistakes.
Can I ask you about these Baron setups? Because you guys ended up losing 2, which was definitely very unfortunate. But I'm just curious as to what goes through the mind of a team when you are setting up for Baron, when you just have to make that decision between turning and committing to the objective?
I mean, the first time it was kind of a risky one because Warwick was alive and he could go in for the smite steal. I think we had to take it though either way because we were not in the best state, and I think we had to take the risk of taking it. And even if they commit, we killed all members, so they had no Nash buffs. But the second Baron steal, that shouldn't just happen. Like, it was Varus and Lulu Q's, and I mean, I think Trashy was a bit tilted about it, but we just need to get through it as a team.
I think we watched it again, and it was only Lulu.
Yeah, it was only Lulu. So basically, Baron was on 725 HP. Smite would deal 850 from Trashy. Someone bursts the Baron, and he doesn't smite, so he's obviously late on the smite there, but someone also bursts it down to 100, and then Glitter Lance flies.
Glitter Lance at 107 damage to take the Baron, while you guys did 12.5k damage.
So obviously it's on the jungler right there, because there was plenty of time.
We at least won that game, so it doesn't matter that much.
We won the game.
I want to talk about the bans in that series, because we already talked a little bit about this, and you might disagree with me, but not banning Shen and Ryze, especially in the third game, to me is a mistake, simply because they've shown to be the best picks for Unicorns of Love in terms of both soul laners. They love to play 1-3-1, and Shen saves them so often, allows them to play super aggressive compared to what we normally see. And with you guys, they're not getting the Rumble because they obviously just banned it in the next rotation. So maybe the mistake was not picking earlier Rumble. But I think that was a mistake from you guys. Not just going Ivern, Ryze, Shen. Screw Zyra and Malzahar. Like, Hylissang has a lot of picks he's using anyway, and just get rid of those.
I mean, I can agree on the Ryze ban maybe because he's really comfortable in champ. Like, he was one of the first to bring it ever into competitive play as well, the new Ryze. But I don't think Shen is like that strong. As like, even though they like to play it, and because then Exile can play up and forward, and then they can play 1-3-1. I think the champion is not that strong right now as a blind pick. I think it can work as a counter, but we should be able to play the map better. And we just did so many mistakes early that when Shen gets ahead, then it's even harder. You know, then he looks even more broken because then Ryze will just push up all the way to tower.
Yep.
We try and go for Ryze. Oh, we go for Shen. He runs away. They go Nash. So
Is this not one of the cases that you shouldn't look at the relative strength of the champion, but what it brings to a team like the Unicorns of Love, which is we know that they like to take those all-ins and go all for it, and you kind of have an insurance policy when you have Shen. You can kind of make up for problems of not moving around the map correctly. Might that be a reason why it works so well for the Unicorns of Love specifically, Betty?
I mean, it could very well be. We've seen that fairly consistently, Chachi has either gone towards Shen or Poppy. They seem to be the only two top laners that he's putting a lot of emphasis on, which is very much the Grasp of the Undying route. And given the recent nerfs to Courage of the Colossus, I feel like Chachi's in a pretty good spot right now.
I think one of the reasons, or main reason probably Shen is so good for Unicorns of Love is whether you like some of the calls they do make, when they make the calls, it seems super clean and everyone seems to be on the same page. Like, it's so rare I see them with like one guy who goes in and one guy runs away. I think that mistake happened like once in the first game against you guys, but most of the time it's when they say like, let's fight here, it's Shen ulti comes down, everyone is engaging in, ultis fly in, and they like pick targets really well. And that's one of the reasons I think this Shen has actually worked almost too well for Unicorns of Love compared to any other team.
I mean, I think that's like been the strongest point of view for a long time. Is just they really work together well as a team. You know, maybe not all the time I agree with their calls, but at least they do it all together instead of splitting up like 2 and 3, and then it's even worse. Like, everything they do is pretty much as a team. So I think that's the strongest point about the team. And while I agree with you, Shen is good for them because they like to play aggressive. At least like last split was even, I think, more because they had a more ward-focused jungler in move. I think Sax is more like farm-heavy in a way. But I still think that Shen is like not as strong and definitely countable.
I mean, you still played into it in game 1 with the Rumble, and that ended up working out for you overall. So it definitely shows that there are ways to punish it.
Behind in that game as well. So.
Before we get to the standings, the new pick master, Warwick came out.
Yes, it did. We saw some really cool picks this weekend. I was pretty excited the fact that we did get to see Warwick on the first day. There was a lot of discussion in the office as to who would bring it out, and everyone was like, probably Unicorns. Having spoken to a lot of junglers, the fact that he's being picked is mainly because he thinks that it's a pretty good pick after Kha'Zix and Rengar, given that champions like Rek'Sai have now fallen out of favor. Lee Sin and Elise are pretty early game heavy, so he's a nice scaling jungler that seems to fit into Cersei's style. There's a couple of mixed opinions, but he does seem to definitely have an interesting playstyle that's finding his way into the main.
I think you watch our first game and then watch the impact of the champ after 30 minutes, and like everybody flashes his ult, and then he's just standing there in the middle of everything. Hello, I'm a wolf.
That's true. Can't argue with logic, or actually what happened in the game. If we gloss over the standings after today, though, the Unicorns of Love, they did manage to win that series, and they are now still at the head of Group B with a 4-0. And then the Misfits in Group A, they tie G2 first for Group A because G2 hasn't played a third series yet. Giants are in third, and Fnatic, they fall to fourth, and Rock at fifth. So that's an interesting development for Fnatic. That's not where you want to be, obviously.
No, I think losing 2-0 to Misfits, who's another one of these new teams who have made some roster changes, you can kind of expect almost the same from both of them and kind of follow their progression is obviously really bad for Fnatic. There's obviously a lot of stuff to work on. I still think, again, they make things a little bit harder for themselves than maybe they have to. But I also think Misfits just played really well in the second game with their comp. And I think Misfits kind of show some of that progression we want to see, especially because they were so weak in one area. And as Power Vivo said, you know, we're just going to tunnel on that one area, just fix that one area because we're good enough early game that we can then, you know, just ignore that for now and just work on later. Work on the late game. Anyway, there's some lag on the stream there, guys. It wasn't me. It was the stream and lagging. Trust me.
Verius, are you a Misfits fan?
Oh, yeah, I've been a Misfits fan since Challenger.
Bias.
I was definitely...
First night, now Misfits.
It's got nothing to do with the fact that Alfari is Welsh, I promise. But I actually think that there was a lot of hype coming into them. I know it was mainly surrounded players like Hans Sommer because of his dominance in the challenger scene, but I think that was quickly debunked very early on into the split, given that Alfari was one of the big shining stars, Ignar in particular, and today we're seeing that Power of Evil has really come out of his shell.
Yeah,
too.
what do we make of this? Power of Evil, it didn't work for him on Origin, and you can't say, of course, there were problems with that organization, but on the other hand, he never really carried that many games either. There was like the champion pool rumblings. What do you think it is that Power of Evil now seems to do better on this team? Was it just a change of pace, or do you not see as much improvement as maybe in this game was shown?
I mean, he doesn't really have to be the main carrier on this team. I think like their two sides, like top and bot, is like, I know both of them really wants to be the carriers. Like Alfari likes to play stuff like Jason this, and Hansama Igna looks to play very aggressive, even though Igna obviously roams a lot, likes to take control of the map. But I think Power of Evil is just stable. And in this meta right now, where Syndra is in and Casher is like his two champions pretty much to play, so I think it's pretty good. Stay for him.
Yeah, we had a bit of a talk during the game about possible best mid laners in EU, and you said, well, for me, Caps and Febiven take that place for now. Why exactly? What about their playstyle?
I mean, I just think both of them really know how and when to punish, and like the way they play the lane is much better than, I would say, a lot of mid laners in EU right now. I just think in general, like their mechanics is just, I think they're just so much ahead in mechanics than other players. But I think one of the weakness points of like Caps is that obviously he's new and his game knowledge is not that great. And I think sometimes he doesn't play like how he could on side lane when he plays stuff like Sid and Katarina, like stuff that has to go side lane, then he seems to lag a bit.
Yeah, I think Febiven has been like the best overall performing member, but also because, as you just highlighted, like he knows what to do after laning phase, and I think he's been very solid. There were maybe some issues in the Unicorns of Love game in terms of team fighting and like picking the right targets, but that's very often also a team thing, like they're calling specific things. So I think Febiven overall has been really, really good, and it's fun to see him kind of return a little bit to form, and I think he's only going to get better.
2015 Febiven.
2015 Febiven, you know, the storyline is there. And I think actually
big storyline.
The big narrative. I actually think H2K will just keep getting better and better. Like at least I hope so, because I think the team has a lot of potential, and I want to see them like around playoffs really peak.
So what about the other mid laners? And is there anyone that has been underperforming? I know you were a very big Knight fan. He was a rookie in summer.
I mean, first week I'll agree. Very hard, but
In terms of underperforming mid laners, I think that, I don't know if you'd call it underperforming, but Betsy, I'm still yet to see really anything from him, because I know he did have actually a few good performances. Like he was one of those super polar players in summer where he would either like snowball and carry. I seem to remember some of his Swain and Vladimir games. And then if he didn't get Swain or Vladimir, then he would just kind of have these abysmal scorelines. So for me, I'm still waiting to see if he can pull anything out of it.
How's Perks doing, guys?
Perk's laning phase is an issue right now. I think he's gotten better outside of laning phase.
That's also their plan, isn't it?
I mean, I guess that is the plan right now. Here early on in the split, they want to like try and become this like top international team. So they need to like not tilt if they fall behind early. They need to play better macro later. When you talk to the guys, that's what they mention. But I think early game he can still get like a lot better than he is right now. So it's actually hard to say like where would rank Perks on the overall mid lane list.
We don't need to rank unless you want to.
All right, let's
Not one or
rank
two,
him then.
apparently.
everybody knows he has the potential to like become the best again that he probably was like back in spring last year when he got into LCS. I just feel like right now he doesn't play as aggressive, like as mechanic focused as he was. Like he was really confident how he played before. He would play up, and then Trick would be there if you try something with jungler, and if it wasn't with jungler, then he could outplay you 1v1 really easily. So I think that's what he kind of miss at the moment.
And he talked about it, like he said it himself. He legit said, I'm not focusing just on mechanics, focusing on like, especially like the mental part of the game, like never tilting, which is something that's been a problem in the past. So I think it's cool to see like a player grow in that sense and kind of realize what some big issues are, because you can have the best mechanics in the world. If you get ganked early and die and you didn't tilt, you're useless. Like you won't do anything for your team.
Do you think Perks has it in him to get to the level of what we call in recent history the strongest mid lane performance of an EU, which is 2015 MSI Febiven? The panel, you don't. I'm just pretty sure.
Doesn't Björksen count? He's Danish.
I mean, you can't see it in Europe.
I mean, yeah, I think he has the potential, like, but I think so many people has the potential to, like, it just depends on how much you practice, how much you want to get it, like.
I also think it's somewhat of a meta-dependent thing, because for a while, back in summer, we had a lot of control mages, and you could argue that maybe a lot of mid laners had the opportunity to shine. But I think that with more assassins coming back in and Perks being allowed to pick more comfort champions, I think maybe there's more of a potential.
It also comes down to the team a lot. Like, we have to remember 2015 February when he was so good. Had Huni Rainover on one side, who was just going off in every game, and a very stable bot lane and a great shot call as well in the bottom lane. So I think if you have the correct team around you who's also setting you up and the meta fits you, then yes.
Let me turn it around. Which mid laner, in your eyes, is not living up to his potential?
Not living up like right now.
Like right now?
I would say if you look at 2016 and then the beginning of now.
I mean,
in
first of all, I think Spring Split now, there's a bit more competition in the mid lane than there was in Summer Split. We have some, like again, Caps coming in, February now on HUK, which seems to fit him better, which is looking much better. So in that case, it's harder to say, let's take a Betsy again. It's harder to say, like, is Betsy playing worse? Or is he playing at his level and it was just weaker mid lane pool last split that made him look better? I think that one is actually hard to say. Pavil could have been one to look at, but now he had a really good performance here. What about you?
About me?
Yeah, like honest question. Do you think right now you're actually like playing under your potential?
Maybe not on stage because I don't think we have had the best showings right now. But nah, I wouldn't say because obviously I can talk about scrimmage, you know, but people don't care about that because it doesn't like really show for anything. So I would say no, not really, not right now. I think at Worlds it was like a pretty good performance. Like personally for myself, like everybody was talking about how my laning was so bad and that get behind 10 CS, the 10 CS meme. So I mean, I think I worked on that quite a lot. I think in scrims I'm trying to be more aggressive, and it just hasn't really shown that much on stage yet. Except for the Mordekaiser.
The Mordekaiser
that's
is great.
great.
We love that. I think maybe Knight is a guy I want to look at.
That's like I actually forgot him. Yeah, I actually think Knight is like
Case in point.
he had good showing towards the last half of the split last year, but I feel like now he's just kind of.
He's very consistent right now.
I mean, he had a really good performance against Fnatic.
And then he had some really bad ones
Yeah,
before. He
did,
lost
yeah.
tower 3 games in a row against Fnatic, you know, like...
Getting caught off randomly at side lanes, being like, I can take
Sorry,
your
did we
team.
interrupt? Were you...
No.
Okay. I want to make sure you can actually say your point.
Well, we'll see both Perks and Knight and Febivin and Nukeduck tomorrow, because HUK will be facing Vitality, and then G2 will take to the Rift against the Giants. We didn't actually mention Nukeduck yet. How's he doing?
I think Nukeduck is doing good though. I think he's the shining light of the team.
Vitality roster?
I agree so far. Especially think his Talia games, when he can roam to side lanes, have been actually very effective. So far I've been happy with Nukeduck. Year of Nukeduck maybe, who knows?
Year of Nukeduck.
Year of Nukeduck. Deficio 2017.
There we go. And on that note, I think we can log off. Thank you guys very much for joining us. Sankooks, thank you so much for joining us as well. Thank you. Join us tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central European Time. That is 8 a.m. Pacific for more European League of Legends goodness. Au revoir.
Farewell.
Hi.
See ya. Peace.
Right now, Hylissang descending. What? No way! Kidding me? Hylissang just stole the ban! Hylissang's jumped on. Unicorns have lost everything in this fight. It's just Chachi, and he's getting barbecued down to 0. That's the ace for Splice. The Unicorns are starting to fall to pieces. Chachi holding out to the last, but at the end, he will be the last man standing, and that won't be for very long. Let's go! Woohoo! Saying, making himself look tasty. Senko's caught between the rest of the Unicorns now. He sends a Death Laser, and he's not going to be able to get the kill. Chachi gets it. Splice, they can't really hang tough right now. Jimmy Big Member, Semix was tanking a little bit. They've caught Kabi, and now Xerxes going to be jumping in. Exile with an unstoppable kill to finish the job. Unicorns can look to close this one out.
Hylissang sacrifices his life for the greater good as you all get 3 kills, and they're going to get game 3.
Sama's alone here.
I got him.
Yeah.
Sama ult comes in, comboed in, but he's going to dodge out most of the damage. Deathmark will not be enough. Very close though. Amazing wants to follow it up. He's going to get it in the end. Nice.
He's basically an assassin at least right now into a poke comp, and now a party.
Oh, shut down. Okay. I saw the moves. Misfits, they're going to take down Fnatic. Game 1. Misfits coming in, changing all perceptions as they cut through Fnatic. It's just around the Poppy. That was really smart, but it's not enough. First blood drops were amazing.
Nice, guys. Really good.
First round, I got excited, but it wasn't enough because Misfits, this is a beautiful game of League of Legends. They're moving up. Not only are they taking out Fnatic, it's going to be a 2-0 in their favor. They find advantage, they make it work, they take the series.